Hello everyone, my name is Nataraj and I'm a faculty for UPSC Civil Service Preparation. With prelims around the corner, around 40 days, let's talk about some simple yet effective strategies that can help you increase your odds of clearing this exam. Especially those strategies that many good students tend to overlook as well. This was actually part of a class lecture for the students who had enrolled in my UPSC mentorship program. But however, we've opened this up for the rest of you as well. So without any further delay, let's get started with today's agenda.
Okay, and this is another question that you guys had asked. How exactly do you schedule your study? See, scheduling your study, it's a very important question, okay? Because time is sort of minimal. Primarily, in the last few days, it is very productive sessions, right? Until now, you may think that, okay, I'm going to study, if I have to put in the number of hours, maybe I need like a group study sort of an environment. I need some sort of a push. I'm not getting that sense of urgency. In the last couple of days, in the last 10 days, you're not going to have that issue, right? So you will be, there is always that fire. Okay, so it makes it easier for you. Now, how to make a timetable? See, generally there are three components, okay? And see, one thing is your revision, revising everything that you have done. Revising is vital, okay? And I'll tell you why it's vital. Every single reading, you will gain something from it. Every single round, you will gain something from it. Another thing is, you have done quite a bit of tests, right? Everybody today who is going to the prelims exam has taken a few mock tests. Okay, mock tests, and I'm not a very big sort of, believer in the scores that they give you, and neither should it make you too happy, nor should it sort of, demotivate you, right? But there is an important thing that you can take away from this, and that is your strength and weakness. Okay, it also tells you which topic in which subjects are you going to be getting troubled at. So go back to wrong answers, at least your wrong answers. You may have already sort of fixed that. Okay, it is not wrong anymore. You know that concept really well. If there is a question about GST, if there's a question about CPI, WPI, let us just say that you know most about CPI and WPI compared to that day. But ensure that whatever you have done so far, and if you had made a mistake, go back and ensure that it is not a mistake anymore. Okay, so that will ensure that your weaknesses are sort of reduced. Now, I also have another section called weak areas, which I'll talk about. Your day should be ideally divided between your 1, 2, and 3. Okay, test solutions will sort of expose you in that 1 or 2 hours, right? How many hours that it takes you not to solve the questions right now, but the ones that you've already solved, and you're looking at the solutions, right? In those are like 100 topics of many different sort of diverse subjects, so that will expose you to many things. So it is quick. And it makes sense to do this because you've already invested time thinking about those topics, thinking about how to solve that particular question. So this also is very important. Okay, and weak areas, I'll probably have another session about it, so that I can tell you, you do not want to go into this exam hall thinking anything about culture I'm not going to be good at. You do not want to go into that exam hall thinking if there is a question about let us say ancient medieval, okay, or let's say economy for some of you, and economy is something that should not be difficult. Okay, 21 questions, it cannot be cannot be a weakness, because it is relatively easy. And I'm not saying this because I have a lot of experience in economy because of my corporate background or that, but I know this is one of those subjects that can be sort of made into a strength. Okay, it is more about reasoning. A lot of questions will have elements of, the more analytical you are, the more sort of wide awake you are in exam hall, you will get more questions right. Okay, see, when I say revision, think about this. Okay, think about this. Polity, how many, let us say, types of voting in the house do you sort of recall? How many different ones can you think about? Simple majority is one, right? You can think about special majority, right? Special majority is what? 2/3 present and voting, and half the members that are present, things along those lines, right? The exact wording, right? And some will have special majority with half the states also ratifying it. Can you tell me more? If you have revised it enough. Go ahead, please.
Effective majority.
Effective majority, and what is that? And like where exactly does it come into play?
Speaker.
I'll tell you. Okay, so think about this. 2/3 membership of a house. If you can think of example, I'll just give you like some, let's say 10-15 seconds, just go through these options and try to see if you are able to sort of connect what happens where. I may have sort of asked you this question before also. There might be one or two more. I'm not sure. You know, it's been a while since I've actually gone through that book. But you know, during the heat, during, you know, when I was in heat and when I was preparing for this exam, you know, I would be able to tell you that this is it, or there is one more. Okay, and like what all come under which. Right? For instance, 2/3 membership of the house. It is not a special majority plus half the states. It is 2/3 membership of the house. So if it is 545 divided by or multiplied by 2/3. Okay, so this is going to be president's removal. If I say special majority, okay, 2/3 present and voting and half the house and let us say half the states also, right? It is one of those procedures for amendment. Okay, certain elements have to be. So for instance, something to do with concurrent powers or, you know, division of powers between the center and the state or Supreme Court and High Court. You know, you guys get the picture. President related things. Special majority alone without the ratification of half the states. Right? Again, this is to do with your amendment. If you remember, fundamental rights and DPSP will come under this. Absolute majority of Rajya Sabha and simple majority of Lok Sabha. Are you able to think of it? Removal of VP. Absolute majority alone. Removal of speaker. Removal of vice chair of Rajya Sabha. Not the vice president, but the vice chair of Rajya Sabha. Simple majority. Okay, simple majority is also another one that you will probably, you know, for instance, you know, your amendment, right? Simple majority. It does not come under that 368 specifically. 2/3 majority of Rajya Sabha, okay, without anything else. Can you name this? Can you think of anything? Resolution of Rajya Sabha that is required for you to make laws on the state list for creation of all India services, right? So these sort of elements, right? If you have done it enough, one more reading, another reading, subsequent reading, you will constantly realize that there is always something that you get out of it, right? You always get something out of it. So, you know, don't think that, you know, I am done with my revision and I know I feel very comfortable with it. Even if you spend a little time, you will only gain more from it. Similarly, let's just take another example. Okay, let's talk about modern history. In modern history, if I ask you what are Delhi proposals, what is the Delhi Pact, and what is Delhi Manifesto, if you are sure that 100% with crystal clarity, right, you are not going to get confused between these. Okay, you know exactly which one comes first, okay, and in what context it comes in, what was before Delhi proposal, what was post Delhi proposal, what exactly is Delhi Pact, what happened before Delhi Pact, what resulted in Delhi Pact, what were the sort of features or characteristics of that Delhi Pact, what happened subsequently, what is Delhi Manifesto, why did, like, it was a manifesto between whom and whom, right? If you are like 100% sure, then you can say that, okay, I am done. But however, I don't think any of us is ever that confident about any subject when it comes to prelims, despite the fact that we know that 92 was the cutoff last year, despite the fact that we know that, okay, we don't have to score 150, you don't have to solve every single question. Okay, you just have to be in the top 3000, 2000 to be safe, right? But despite that, see, there are many elements here, right? There are many elements here. So revision, come back here, think about this. Revision is vital. There are so many things that you've done, and you have done a lot because you've been doing it since end of April, right? So that means the amount of things that you have to revise is a lot. But at the same time, that also means that you've revised it multiple, you have 3 rounds of tests. So every topic has been revised at least a little bit, right? Because you've done a lot of tests, you have a lot more of sort of solutions to go through. Okay, that is not a burden. It only sort of puts you, you know, ahead of the curve. Okay, it puts you ahead of the competition. And weak areas, everybody will have that weak area. Now, this is a thing that you have to understand is definitely not the same for all. When you are preparing, trust me, now you're all on your own. Okay, make this. Take a look at your usual, you know, full length test. Take 2-3 tests. See, for instance, if I take my polity, okay, I have attempted, let us say, in a particular test, 20 questions are there. I got, let's say, 12 right. Okay, I got 8 wrong. Let's say somebody else has gotten 20. You've gotten 18 right and 2 wrong. Okay, obviously, polity is something that you have to spend less. This person has to spend more time. And this is less. right? Very, very clear. Similarly, so this is an assessment that will probably help you because you have less time, right? And you want to prioritize what has to be done now and for whom, right? Even if it is, let us say 12 and 8 for, all of you who are in the session who are watching this, right? It does not necessarily matter because the 8 that you got wrong might be different from the 8 that I got wrong. Okay, I might be extremely good at fundamental rights. You might be awful at fundamental rights. I might be awful at parliament chapter or let's say election commission or constitutional bodies, while you might be rocking it, right? So it is never the same. So this is the time where you focus on like what exactly is it that you don't feel comfortable with. Try to spend some time. Okay, try to spend some time. Try to get better. Similarly, try to see if it's current affairs. Okay, current affairs is not all sort of static, guys. Okay, there is a good amount of reasoning here. For a person who reads newspaper, I feel there is a definite edge. I've always felt, I was never that great at, vision booklets. I used to, do my own sort of notes. I would not say that, do not do vision. Okay, vision is absolutely, vision or anything that else that you're following is absolutely great because you've not been reading newspaper on a daily basis, doing those clippings and writing your notes. I did that. Okay, but mine was nothing in comparison to the professional work that these institutes are doing. Okay, it'll definitely save you more time. It has covered a lot more, but however, that reasoning element you will get by sort of reading a little more, right? So even if it is 20 minutes, 30 minutes, things that you feel you're not so comfortable with, but you think that there's a chance that, that kind of a topic can be in prelims. By now you'll have that idea. Can it be, can it not be? Go spend a little more time. So in summary, see, first of all, never hurts to keep revising because with each round you'll learn something new, right? You're constantly going to learn something new, whether it is your current affairs, whether it is your static, whether it is your previous tests. Okay, because you've invested so much on these tests, you want to ensure that you do not leave this, okay, towards the end. Whatever you've done, just go back and take a look at it. Look at the ones that you got it wrong, okay, not the others. Okay, because again, you're trying to prioritize. If you still have time, then you can look at the other ones as well. Okay, now focus on like why you got it wrong. Just try to see like why exactly would you have gone for option 1, 2, and 3 and not 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what exactly made you eliminate something that you should not have eliminated, or why did you not eliminate something that should have been eliminated, right? Today you will be a lot better at it than you were, let's say, a month ago, 2 months ago, or even 2 weeks ago, right? And there will always be those areas that you think you are weak at. If that it is your weakness, you want to ensure that don't go in thinking that you have a weakness. There is still time. Okay, there is still time to master anything. If you do feel like it is ancient and medieval, trust me, those books take like 1 day each. Okay, and you have time. If it is economics and you're not able to understand what is twin deficit, how is that different from twin balance sheet sort of problems, and how is that different from, let's say, 4 balance sheet challenges, just read economics, spend some time, go through, revise those tests, right? Try to solve those tests again if possible, and also take the newspaper every single day. Spend a couple of how much of a time that you want, read some of those articles. It will be the same articles that keep getting repeated, and those are the same sort of topics that even UPSC likes. MSP ke bare mein, like about MSP, there will be an article every single day. What are the products there? Sugarcane pricing, what is their industry saying, right? There will be this association that will say that the FRPs are maybe insufficient, or the payments have not come through. There are so many things from those articles that you can utilize to sort of eliminate some of the options that are given in your UPSC question, right? If it is, let us say, something to do with external debt, you should be able to tell what is sort of components of external debt. You will see all of these things in these articles. Okay, non-sovereign debt hota hai, there will be sovereign debt. What are the largest sort of constituents of India's external debt? Right? Is it the commercial borrowings? Is it the outstanding NRI deposits? Is it the loans from, let's say, those what are they, multilateral and bilateral sort of under that external assistance, right? FII investments in GSECs, right? All of these things, you have time. Okay, you can still do it. So do not go in thinking that you have a weakness, even if it is economy. If it is economy, then it is good news, because I'm sure that you can get better at it like very, very soon. Okay, so that's all I have. Okay, but again, just remember this. I have given you a lot of these suggestions primarily because there is always room for improvement. Always room for improvement. But that does not mean that there are a lot of problems. There are not too many problems at all. Okay, you've done more than enough. Okay, this is just to sort of get you to prioritize better. What do you want to be doing more? Okay, what can you do now that can sort of give you a higher return on the time invested? Okay, so I just thought I'll just give you my perspective on what you could do. I think I know you guys quite well, and so I sort of customized this for you. You have to know yourself a little more so that your sort of takeaway from this thing is again customized. Okay, your weak areas are different from somebody else's, right? Your areas that you have to revise more are different from somebody else's, right? And again, as a viewer, you will probably know which one you have to sort of take in. So again, so you are going there to mains. Okay, so prelims, just think of it as one of those days that is almost like attendance. You have to go show up on day of prelims, attend a couple of sit there for a couple of hours in the morning, sit there for 2 hours in the evening, come back out. Okay, so that they're going to process your mains hall ticket. That's it. It is nothing more. Okay, you are going for means you will be there in the top 2000, 3000. No questions asked about that. Okay, so just be confident. That is the most important thing. You've done more than enough. If you have any other questions, again, feel free to sort of leave me a message, call me. Okay, we will be able to figure out whatever other issues that you have. There's plenty of time. You can even increase your score to from 30 marks from today all the way till your exam. Okay, 30 marks is not much. I'm not exaggerating at all. Okay, there is plenty of time. So I wish you the very best. Okay, keep doing what it is that you are doing. You're doing really well. Okay. By the way, you guys have any questions after this? No questions? Hey, how many of you knew all that? Were you able to say Delhi Pact, Delhi Proposal, Delhi Manifesto? Okay, let's go through it just because you asked. Let's go through it. Shall I just tell you? This is something that I think I might have asked you guys in class or something like that also. See, primarily try to remember the sequence. Okay, history, if you know what happens, it's just like a story. This is how you studied in school. So you don't have to complicate it any further. So when you had this Nehru report and they came out with the recommendations, there are a whole lot of recommendations. Dominion status was one of those, right? Apart from that, there were many others in that list. At that particular point, the Hindu and the Muslim sort of communal responses take place. Okay, some people are not happy with what they have got, so they sort of make some sort of proposals, right? For instance, Jinnah talks about giving 1/3 representation to Muslims in Central Legislative Assembly. Okay, I'm okay with sort of joint electorates in place of separate electorates. Okay, but ensure that there is reserved seats for the Muslims. Ensure that we'll have some Muslim majority provinces. I think it was in Pakistan area, Baluchistan, NWFP, and things like that, right? And again, when he proposed this, the Hindu Mahasabha sort of was opposed to it, and so that was something. Okay, so if you remember Lord Birkenhead saying that Indians cannot come out with their own they cannot sort of have a consensus when it comes to sort of deciding what is best for themselves. They will keep bickering amongst themselves, right? But we wanted to show that we are going to do it. But again, we had some trouble. Eventually, through some process of compromises and all of that, we came out with a Nehru report. But were everybody sort of happy? No, not necessarily, right? And a whole lot of things transpire in a very short time period. And then we had this Irwin statement, right? He talks about thinking that 1917 we talked about the fact that we'll sort of involve more Indians with it. So the idea here is that you're slowly sort of going to move towards dominion status, right? These sort of aspects. So Delhi Manifesto, dominion status should be accepted. Congress should be in majority. Provide amnesty as a amnesty. Something along those lines were there in that, right? But Irwin sort of decides to not accept any of these sort of demands, right? And we had to eventually go with Lahore, Purna Swaraj, 1929, things like that. And then finally you had, and then what happens? They go with these RTCs. Things are starting to break down. Talks are starting to break down. First RTC, you had no Congress. You had the Muslim League and the Hindu Mahasabha. You had the liberals. You had the princes. But to get things done, you cannot have it without the Congress. So then again, Irwin is sort of forced to come back, and Gandhi and Irwin sort of make a pact. In that pact, I don't know if you guys remember, but something to do with police excess. Bhagat Singh, commuting his death sentence, that was not done. So there are some things there, but then eventually it was a result. It resulted in this something called Delhi Pact. All of these things, does it come to your mind? Suspending of CDM, participating in RTC, all of these. So the more you sort of revise these topics, okay, the easier it becomes for you to, in fact, it takes you less time to be able to recall these, right? I had done these topics quite well during my time, right? Now, it's still there, but it's still sort of hazy, right? It'll take like a couple of readings. So things of that nature. But again, if you look at the questions at the end of the day, you have to solve it. It does not mean that, you have to memorize each and every word from it. Right now, you're sort of, your priority is to ensure that, there are many things to be done. You prioritize what all is important and plan accordingly. Okay, so if you guys could remember it, great. Okay, that's why I'm telling you, you guys are almost done. You are going through. Okay, you're making it. You are going to mains, and I'm going to be training you for mains very soon.
We hope that you found this video to be useful. For any further guidance, please feel free to reach out to us. You'll find the details given below in the description. And finally, don't forget to subscribe. Also click on the bell icon for further notifications as well. If you found this video to be useful towards your preparation, if it added value to your preparation, please give it a like and also share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.